All right, everybody, welcome to this episode of Rush Roundtable. This time we are talking about Desert Island playlists. So we have each picked 3 songs that we would have with us if we were stranded on a desert island. Of course, they are Rush songs. Would like to say thank you to Donna because she came up with this idea. We thought it was really awesome, and I had a ton of fun picking out my songs, and I think I'm going to guess everybody else did too. And why would you not be stranded with Rush songs? That's the best kind of music to be stranded with. So
I'm the only person who had trouble picking out just 3.
Yes. Well, no, you're not. No,
you're not the only one.
You're not the only one. Definitely not the only one. And we do have a new guest tonight. Maya Wynn is joining us for the first time. So hi, Maya. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. All right. Well, I think let's just kind of get into it. We will start with Ryan. So what are your songs and why'd you pick them?
All right. So I will briefly say that I'll preface this with I was speaking with our pal Matt Gluckman prior to this 2 weeks ago or so. And I asked him what he would pick. And I asked him if he would pick Free Will, which is his favorite song. And he said no, because to him, that's a cheat code. That was his words. It's a cheat code. He can play that song in his head over and over and not actually have to put the song on. And I thought that was a brilliant statement. So for me, I mean, some of my favorite songs, Subdivisions or anything from Power Windows, I'm not going to put on this list for that reason. So my next thought was, do I just pick the 3 longest Rush songs, 2112, Hemispheres, and The Fountain of Lamneth, just for more Rush? I decided no, and what I decided to do was pick 3 songs that I just could not live without, 3 songs that I can put on at any given point in time and never get tired of. So the first one is from Snakes and Arrows, Armor and Sword. The second is How It Is from Vapor Trails, but I want the R40 live version of it. Because to me, on my 3 tracks, I got to have some live Rush, and that song live it's just amazing. So now the third song, I was debating between 3 or 4 different songs, but I finally settled on, probably because of some recency bias with Moving Pictures 40th, but I settled on The Camera Eye because I had to have a little bit of a longer Rush song. That's about a 10 or 11 minute song. And that is my favorite from Moving Pictures. Hearing that live version from Live in YYZ that came out on R40 just made me go back and listen to the studio recording again, and absolutely love that song. So those are my 3. That's my Desert Island playlist. Just I can listen to them in any setting on the desert island if I'm, I don't know, sleeping or waking up or going off that desert island or whatever. I think any situation I could listen to these 3 songs. They're perfect to me.
That's awesome. I love The Camera Eye pick. I love The Camera Eye.
It's a great tune.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Great. Cool. That's a great list. I'm liking it. All right, Donna, would you like to go through your list?
I would. I wanted to say Working Man just because, come on, but I felt like that would be so obvious. So I'm going to start with a song that has a lot of meaning to me career-wise, which of course is Spirit of Radio. And the reason I picked Spirit of Radio, 1980, Permanent Waves, etc., is because as a former DJ, I was watching in real time as radio diminished in authority, diminished in power. People ask me all the time, could you discover Rush today? I don't know if I could. I'd want to, but radio will never have that power. It's still there. It still matters. And I think in some ways people misinterpret Spirit of Radio because it really was a love song to what radio has been and what it turned into about profits and commercialism. But there's still the music. There's still the music. There's always the music. So Spirit of Radio for sure. Then I gotta go with Time Stands Still. Okay. And the reason I gotta go with Time Stands Still is because it's a song about appreciating what there is, freeze this moment a little bit longer. I'm a cancer survivor, 7 years. I'm not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be having this conversation. And yet I'm still here. I cheated the hangman for one more day. And if I were on a desert island, I'd be cheating the hangman there too. And I'd be wanting to freeze this moment just a little bit longer, just appreciate what there is. Okay. And my third one has got to be The Garden. Okay. Because when I think of Neil, when I think of the contribution that Rush made to me and made to my life and made to all of our lives, okay, I have to just keep thinking about, the measure of a life, love and respect, a garden to nurture and protect. That music, that is the garden. We are part of that garden. We are nurturing and protecting the legacy of this band. And if I'm on a desert island, I'm still remembering what Rush contributed to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow.
I thought I think I said to Jim or maybe Ralph that I thought for certain you were going to pick Driven on your list. I know how much
I
you
wanted
love
to.
that song.
That's what I'm saying. I was sitting here,
Yeah.
even up until like 5 minutes before we went on the air. I'm like,
You were debating, yeah.
Fly By Night, Driven, After Image.
Yep.
So much great music.
I still can't listen to The Garden without crying. So
That's my point.
Pick
that.
I
That's exactly my
don't
point.
I don't think I've listened to it since Neil's passing, to be honest. For that reason, though.
That was the first
It
song.
will make me cry.
That was the first song I put on after I learned of Neil's passing, just so that I could get through it.
The line about hope is what remains to be seen.
Oh,
A lot of people thought that Neil was like really, no, he wasn't. Neil wasn't negative at all. Neil was realistic, but his music in many ways gave him hope. And he's reaching out to us from wherever, inspiring us. As bad as it gets, don't lose hope. Have faith in music, have faith in each other. And I'm sorry if I interrupted you. I'm a horrible person.
No, you're not. You're not at all. That's awesome.
And you wouldn't want to be on a desert island with me. But,
well, I think that might be pretty good.
Probably be pretty fun. Just talk Rush the whole time.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to talk? Anything happening in the world? Now, talk some Rush.
All right.
So who else we got?
All right, Maya. How about your list?
Oh, okay. I also had a very hard time choosing. I feel like, I took the prompt very literally and I was trying to imagine myself stuck on an island, and I feel like I'd be pretty sad if I was stuck on an island. So I think my first choice was actually Kid Gloves from Grace Under Pressure. And I feel like something about that song, I really love music that transports me somewhere else. And something about that song really does that. The chord progression and the melody and the movement of that song, it takes me out of my own headspace. And so I feel like I'd need that if I was on an island and I was stuck there. My second song is kind of silly. So I feel like Scars from Presto would be the perfect island rave song. Like something about there's like the bongos and that like driving kick drum beat. And I feel like if I needed like a good island dance song, maybe I'm losing my mind a little bit and I just need to like have my own personal little dance night on the island. That's the song I would listen to. And then I feel like I wanted something a little bit soothing. I had a hard time choosing between, there's a few different more ballady type songs that I like Tears is a really beautiful one, but the one that I ended up choosing was Rivendell. And I feel like if I had a song to just like be really soothing and make me feel like, okay, I'm in a beautiful place, everything's fine, this is my safe haven, even if I'm stuck on an island. I feel like I'd listen to that song a lot. I'd sleep to it. It'd be like a nice, peaceful lullaby at night. But yeah, those are my 3 songs.
Wow. Those are great. I love that list too. Yeah. And anything from Grace Under Pressure. Oh, awesome.
So good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Amazing. I love it.
Those
Love
are some
that
deep
list.
cuts. Those are really
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you brought up Tears. That is one of my favorites.
Such
Yes.
a
It
beautiful
is.
song.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song. I was so hoping you were going to pick different strings when you said you were looking at ballady songs.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I love that's
There's
one of my
so many
favorites.
good ones. I also really like, if you can really call it a ballad, but The Pass is such a good song.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yep.
really like the lyrics and the message behind it. Such a,
You
but I
notice
feel like
how
that one would be
many,
sad.
Maya, you notice how
Powerful.
many Rush songs you can say, that's a great song. That's a
Yeah.
great song. That's a great,
Like all of them.
yes.
165 of them, yeah.
Yes.
They're,
Yeah.
yeah. They're amazing.
So many good
Yeah, I think
ones.
one day they might become popular, you know, just.
Yeah, I think they've got a shot for sure.
Oh, yes. That's
Oh.
great. Awesome. Thanks, Maya. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Alana, how's your list?
I also took it quite literally. I do have a throwaway, which is just Superconductor. If we want to laugh on a deserted island, it can be about my standhood for Superconductor. We could recreate the music video, assuming that there's a video device. But honestly, what kicks off my list is going to be Xanadu, a kind of lullaby in its own right, in its own way. I feel like I could personally relate with eating whatever the equivalent of honeydew I find, which is probably just emergency packets that I packed in my suitcase. And then I think I would have to follow it up with Witch Hunt. I think the angry mob in the beginning would help me feel like I wasn't alone, that I had some conversation in the event that Donna couldn't come with on my desert, on my deserted desert island. And then I just think that that song really grounds me and really just makes me think, but at the same time, it really holds what I love about Rush so near and dear to my heart. And I think it's just kind of like just this dark summer type mood that I hear, and fall, any time of the year really, but specifically that late end of summer, early fall, crisp weather. And then my last would have to be, it's tough, but I'm gonna have to say Force 10. There's something about it that really kind of draws me into that summer feeling again, that island environment that just, again, makes me like look at the sky and look like if it's not raining or thunderstorming. I'm in the Midwest, so there's a lot of those. Like I just picture like that calm before that storm. I can almost feel lightning in the air, which would probably be when I would try to find my way and get, GTFO out of there. Because if I see a storm coming on a, island, I think I'm screwed. So.
Yeah, on an island, yeah.
But it's your desert island fantasy, so there doesn't have to be a storm unless perhaps it's raining gumdrops or something, you know what I mean?
Ooh,
Yeah, or
that sounds
Gatorade,
good.
Cool.
an SPF, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's so great. Such a great list. Man. Wow. Wow, yes. See, again, excellent songs. I'm going to be saying that. How many of us are on here? That's that many times.
And do you notice the diversity of the tracks? I mean, there's some bands that will
there are.
remain nameless, but they have like 2 great songs and that's about it. And
Right.
you buy their albums and you're like,
Yeah.
there's nothing here.
Yeah.
You never have that happen with a Rush album. I mean,
is
I
true.
understand that everybody's got a favorite and everybody's got an album they may not like as much, but even on the ones you don't like as much, there are still some great songs.
Oh, yeah.
So who we got up next?
Melanie.
Yes.
Melanie, what's your playlist?
Okay, well, my playlist is, I've actually been thinking about this every day for like a month. I'm taking it way too seriously. Like it could be wrong or something. But look, Natural Science was the first one that came to mind, maybe because of the water. I don't know. Every time the beach is my favorite place. And that and Presto, I just think about the beach. So Natural Science, which is probably my all-time favorite Rush song, would be number 1. And then La Villa Strangiato, of course, because I need a long epic. And whenever I listen to it, I get something different out of it, depending on who. Am I listening to Alex? Am I listening to Neil? I always get something different out of it. And then last would be Dreamline. That song has been on in repeat in my head for the past year and a half through a bunch of losses and a bunch of bad stuff. And I'm getting a tattoo in a few weeks with some of the lyrics in Dreamline. So, because we're only immortal for a limited time. And that's the way I'm looking at life. So that would be number 3.
See,
I'm so
again.
jealous of your picks.
Oh, me too. I love it. It's and I almost picked Lavia for mine.
I'm surprised nobody had yet. So
well, I think it's such a great instrumental, and it tells a story without words. That just baffles me that they were able to do that. It's amazing. It's just, I just think it's incredible.
Listen, I considered it when I was brushing my teeth before this, so I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It almost made my list.
Great
they
list.
put so much work into it. I mean, you've heard the stories of, that song alone could have broken the band, and how long it took to record and everything, and what they got out of it's just amazing. So how can you not appreciate it?
That's true. That's awesome. That's an awesome list. These are all awesome lists. All right. Next up is me. All right. So my list. We are going to start with my favorite, Xanadu. Alana, I did not steal it from you. It is, to me, Xanadu is just the ultimate Rush song. It just has everything great about the band is in that one song. So that's my first one. My second one, Cygnus X1 Book 2, Hemispheres. I didn't pick it because it's long, and that I swapped Lavia out for this one. I picked it because it has such diversity within the entire song, and it's so intricate and it's so beautiful at the same time. So I want Hemispheres. And then my last song, which I had to pick a song from this album. My last song is Half the World. I wanted something a little bit different. That has like a little bit of a folksy vibe to it, what Alex did with the guitar and the solo on I'm forgetting the instrument now, but he did a solo on a different instrument on that one, I believe.
Was it a mandolin, I think?
Mandola. It's a mandola.
Mandola,
That's what
yeah,
it
okay,
was.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I've always really loved that song, and I just love that album because of the transformation that Neil went through with a study with Freddie Gruber. I can hear that difference in his groove when he plays, and I just absolutely love it. So that is my list.
I love the love for Test for Echo. That's always It's always good when we.
Such a great album. Yeah. All right, Ralph, how about yours?
So I went about it. My first thought was I categorized them. One, I needed an epic, and there's 2112, there's Hemispheres, and I chose Natural Science. Not their longest epic, but I like it. It's that transition between epic and more concise songs. And that is probably one, if not my favorite Rush song. The second was I needed an instrumental, and the top two are YYZ and La Via Strangiato. And again, like Melanie, I chose La Via Strangiato. Mostly, because there's just so much to it. Obviously musicianship and just different themes throughout the song. So then my final choice was more general, just trying to figure out what I really want, and I chose Headlong Flight. Just of that song. I think it kind of encompasses their whole career from, the beginning to the end, and trying to live it all again. So,
yeah.
I thought you were going to say Dreamline. I thought you guys cheated off each other.
I know. I was wondering if
That's
she was going to say
awesome.
Headlong Flight.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, as Jim was talking, I was just randomly thinking to myself, is someone going to choose Headlong Flight? So that's awesome that you picked that one.
Yeah.
It's a
And my
great song.
son, he was a Boy Scout when he did his Eagle Scout. He did that song on a slideshow of all his scout.
Ah, cool.
That's
That's
special.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And I love the throwback they do back to Bastille Day on
Bastille
Headlong
Day.
Flight with Alex's guitar part. So great. So great. That's an awesome list. Cool. All right, Brendan, let's hear your playlist.
All right, lots of great ones. This certainly was difficult, but number one was easy for me. And unfortunately, I do have a couple of repeats on my list, but Sing This X1 Book 2, Hemispheres. Hemispheres is my favorite album. Some of you have seen me show off the copy that Getty signed for me many years ago. Ryan and Jim pointed out the benefits of a long track, and this is an 18-minute song. But also, I feel that, kind of pondering the duality of logic and emotion will kind of help keep me sane and grounded while I, build my island hut and plot my eventual escape. So that was number one. And then I hate to have a three-time repeat on the list, but much like Alana and Jim, I can't not pick Xanadu for a desert island. But to keep things interesting, I'll give a little bit of a different reason and perspective. So it's another long track. But I also feel that like listening to a phenomenal song inspired by an opium-influenced poem will really help me appreciate the beauty of nature. It'll help me survive those dark island nights when I'm hallucinating from hunger and the mosquitoes are attacking me. So now this last one is not a repeat, and forgive me for skipping over a couple of decades, but I wanted to do something from the modern era. And after Neil went through his family tragedies in the 90s and the subsequent hiatus, I remember how much I looked forward to Vapor Trails and the triumphant return to the studio and the stage. And so after I build my raft and escape the island like a spirit breaking free, I think that rocking out to One Little Victory will be a very, very appropriate action as I'm charging over those breakers on my little palm raft.
Yes.
It's my desert island playlist.
Will you have the pyrotechnics too?
I'm working that out. If I can figure out how to conquer fire.
You can build the
Dragon.
pyrotechnics into the raft as you have it away.
I keep thinking of people doing Farewell to Kings and kind of like singing along and playing the air guitar and all this other, air drums.
Yeah.
So,
I love
Yeah.
the imagery of that.
so I
Me
have a
too.
question, if I might, since it's
Yes.
my little desert island thing. If
Yes.
you were on a desert island and you had the opportunity to introduce a friend of yours to one Rush song, what would that one Rush song be? Okay, so this doesn't have to be necessarily your favorite, like you picked it for the desert island for your fantasy. This is like you're thinking of your friend, okay? And you're thinking, I really want my friend to get into Rush. What would you introduce them to?
So this is a friend that we met on the desert island?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And your friend has never heard of Rush. And your friend is like, wow, what's that thing you're playing there? And you're like, oh, that's my favorite Rush song. And you're like, have they done anything else? I don't know about that one, but anything else? So it's a newbie. It's a new Rush fan. What would you turn them on to? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
Can I go
Uh,
last this time?
Sure.
Just
Do we
kidding.
want to go in
Whatever.
order or do you want to go random?
Just
Okay,
random.
random.
You remember
Random,
Random?
all right.
Random was on the
So-
island. Random's a good guy.
So the first, I would pick Red Barchetta.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. It's melodic. It's got a good
Yep.
hook.
Yep.
It's still quintessential Rush, but
Yep.
it's a little more mass appeal.
Yes, exactly.
Anybody else?
Mine came to the foreground instantly, which is La Villa. However, there is a caveat to which there is evidence of it on YouTube, but specifically when they left in Alex's rant about Paris Hilton, Specifically just that part
Let's see
to
that.
introduce them, because I've done that before. I'm like, no, they're really funny. And so you introduce the funny aspect first and then kind of get into the more epic, and then, then they fall in love with it kind of the meme way as opposed to going off the bat. I've tried both ways, both routes, and I've definitely seen more success when I go at it through the Paris Hilton rant. So it could be something I'm doing. So any inspiration from these songs is very much appreciated.
Now, in
Cool.
my case, if I might,
Yeah.
I'd want to create a conversation. So I would probably play Free Will for them. And the reason I play Free Will is partially because, yeah, it's got a melody, it's got a hook, it's a little melodic, but it's very deep. It's got a lot of things to think about. It's not the way a lot of people interpret it. It's not anti-religion or anti-this or
Right.
anti-that. It's pro-critical thinking. And
Yes.
isn't that what attracted so many of us to Rush, is that they were like a thinking person's band. They weren't just, I lost my baby, bop, bop, shabop, doo wah, I mean, there was just a lot more to them. And I would think that Free Will has a little bit of the best of both worlds. It's got enough of a hook and enough of a melody and enough musicianship, but it's also got those lyrics that we all love that make us just want to have a conversation.
True. That's true.
I was
That's
going to
cool.
state kind of similar to what Alana said. The funny aspects. I mean, like back in high school, I tried to get a friend into Rush through the Rush and Rio Love Villa rant. Jazz is weird. It's kind of like the same thing that goes on in my head. And also the Enemy Within from Grace Under Pressure live, where Geddy's going like this with his eyes and he's saying suspicious looking stranger, and Alex is coming over to him and just messing around with him, like that type of thing. But if I didn't go that route, Jim, the first thing that came into my mind was Red Barchetta as well. All three of them sound fantastic. It's got a great guitar solo, a great bass line. Neil sounds awesome, and it tells a story. So I think it's got similar to Xanadu. It's got like everything in a Rush song, just a little more condensed.
Yeah. And on the live version, Neil does that massive stick toss. Catches it.
Yep.
You got to have that.
Oh, yeah. Anyone else?
I
know I'm putting you on the spot, and I apologize, but it just
No,
kind
this
of
is fun. That's fun.
Probably Subdivisions.
Oh.
To go along with what you're thinking, Donna, because at first I thought Tom Sawyer, because hey, it worked with a lot of people, so why not use Tom Sawyer?
Or Limelight. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
But Subdivisions, I think I could probably figure out what their background is and what kind of person they are after they listen to the lyrics, and see how much we have in common. And if they listen to the lyrics and they're like, I don't get it, well, I'm going to the other end of the island.
Exactly. Like, my mother's calling me. Yep.
Yeah.
So Melanie, Subdivisions was the song that converted me when a friend played it for me. It wasn't on a desert island, but way back in the early 90s, a friend played Subdivisions for me. That was my introduction. If I'm on a desert island trying to convince my new friend, I'm going to go to Tom Sawyer. I'm going to go right to the radio hit. I'm going to say, look, listen to this song. Really listen to it. Listen to the drums. Listen to the bass. Listen to the cohesiveness of these musicians. Listen to the lyrics. If this doesn't move you, if this doesn't convert you into a Rush fan, I can't help you. Like Melanie said, live on your side of the island. Let's hope we get rescued before we get some Lord of the Flies thing going on here.
Yeah.
The tribe has spoken. You're off the island. You just got.
I'm only friends with people who have been bullied. Those are my standards for friends.
Oh yeah.
Another song that came to mind was The Analog Kid too, but
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to decide between Subdivisions and Limelight. I feel like Limelight is just one of those really easily accessible ones, I feel like, as a nice intro to Rush. But Subdivisions is really good, and it's one of my dad's favorites as well. So it's like, okay, one of those two probably. And of course, Tom Sawyer is just awesome. And, at the very least, you can sing it at them and aggressively try to get them into it. Air drum.
Oh yes, you get air drum all of the fills and everything.
Yeah.
You know, and the funny thing is, I mean, all three of those songs were on the radio, and all three of those songs have odd time signatures in them.
Yeah.
So it's not just your boring like 4/4 kind of stuff. I mean, it's intricate.
The same with Closer to the Heart.
Mhm.
Closer to the Heart got quite a bit of radio airplay too. It
yes.
never really became a hit, but it's another one of those songs that everybody knows it. You play a couple of chords of it and half the crowd is like, you know, because people know it. And again, if you don't listen carefully, it's just like, oh yeah, it's a love song, Closer to the Heart. But again, it's something that could get people talking. I'd be interested when people watch this, as I hope they will. I hope they will leave in the comments either what their desert island songs would be, or what the song is that they would use to turn people on to Rush if suddenly they had a visitor on their desert island.
Yes, I hope they do. Yes. You hear that, guys listening, watching? Leave those in the comments. Please leave them in the comments.
We're begging you. Help us get off this island. They won't let us off unless we get a certain number of comments.
For sure. Awesome. All right. Any other comments before we wrap up about our desert island or our new song introduction?
Great discussion.
I was debating between Closer to the Heart and New World Man, since Donna
New World Man,
Closer to the Heart. I'm thinking New World Man would be
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just have one thing I wanted to say, if I could, and that is, if I were on a desert island, I can't think of any group of people that I would want to be on a desert island with more than you guys, because you guys are the quintessential Rush fans. And I'll tell you what I mean, and then I'll shut up, because never ask the former DJ to be on your panel. They just talk endlessly. Here's what I mean. I don't know what your politics are. I don't know what your religion is. I don't even know in many cases what part of the country you're from. But I know that we have one really important thing in common. We love Rush. And part of loving Rush is to think for yourself, to stand up for ethics, and to be welcoming to others, even others who are different from you. And that's something that I really think is a gift from Rush to us. So thank you for being part of my little fantasy, and thank you for being part of my reality. I really love you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Us too. Thanks so much. Yes, feel the same way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jim, I just want to, before we wrap, just throw a plug Maya's way. So Envy of None, Maya is of course the singer of Envy of None. Alex is, of course, our Alex of Rush plays guitar. But yeah, the album's out now. It is awesome, and you definitely should check it out. It's not Rush, so don't go into it expecting Rush, but it is awesome. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. So
Thank you. Yeah, and just what Alex brought to the record is so amazing to me, and so many of those layers you wouldn't even know they were guitars listening to them. And he challenged himself to create as many different sounds with a guitar as he could, and there's things that sound like strings and keyboards and bells and synths and backwards reversed things and voices, and I don't know how he does his wizardry, but he's so amazing and magical and such an incredible talent. It's been really an honor to work with him.
And a good human being too. I have said on so many occasions, success never spoiled these guys. They never did the, but don't you know who I am, you know? And I'm glad that Alex is out there living the dream and Getty's out there doing what he does. And we're here being appreciative of what you do, Maya.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
100%. And Maya also did went song by song on 2 episodes of our friends Jerry and Steve's podcast as well. So after you've listened to the album, go back and listen to the podcast. Yeah, they did a fantastic job. So
yeah,
awesome stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks. This has been such a great discussion, such a fun discussion. What an awesome panel. I've enjoyed it. Everybody watching, please leave your comments. Like Donna mentioned, please do leave your comments on what your Desert Island playlist is and or what song you would introduce a non-Rush fan to Rush. Are there non-Rush fans? Yeah, but list that song. Yeah, so we could all be Rush fans. All right, well, that's a wrap for us, you guys. Thanks very much. Oh, click the like and subscribe buttons too, please. Almost forgot to tell you that. All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.